Welcome to Financial Planning Explained. I'm your host, Mike Menninger, Certified Financial Planner, founder and owner of Menninger and Associates Financial Planning. One of the things that we like to do is we like to bring in guests who are business owners. And I'm really pleased to have today Ashley Downs and Joel LeBendig. Joel, Ashley, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Very special to me. They're new business owners who really, I work with them, and this is what's exciting about it. So thank you for joining me. Ashley, I want you to tell me a little bit about your business.
Yeah, sure. So we offer one-on-one assisted stretch, as well as some strength and conditioning. One-on-one assisted stretch is basically the latecomer of fitness into the business aspect. So a lot of people go to the gym and lift weights, or go and run outside, or run on the track, treadmill, and we get you into the stretching flexibility aspect of training. So we can get you in deeper positions, different positions than what you can and normally get into on your own, and help with that consistency and that missing piece of fitness and just daily living as well.
Well, so for those of the viewers, I've been doing it with Ashley for about almost a year and a half. I never realized the impact of how much stretching can really do for you. And I noticed it already from day one. And I think what we did twice a week for the first couple weeks or a month, back down to once a week, and now it's more of a monitoring for about once a week now, or once every 2 weeks. What do you find as being a frequency of your clients that come to see you?
I'd say the most popular is once a week, generally for a full session. So that's anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
Some do come in for the half sessions, which are 30 minutes. But consistency is key, like nutrition, with the lifting, with the running, and other aspects of life. So stretching is very similar in that. So the more consistent you are, the more you're going to see the benefits, feel the benefits, and stay on track.
So I've heard that there are definitely health benefits associated with stretching. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, sure. So it can help prevent injury, reduce the risk. Research also shows that potentially increase of blood flow, so your muscles are more relaxed. You can get a better circulatory with more flexibility in the muscles. So also on the mental aspect of it, a little bit of a stress reliever, clarity. So there's a wide breadth of pluses, positivity.
Understand you have a lot of golfers.
I do have a lot of golfers, you being one of them.
I know.
And we're right across the street from a golf course, so it's pretty handy.
You are.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely for all sports, but in particular golfing, because you can speak on that yourself, helps with the swinging, better technique, getting you through all 18 holes, so that longevity.
Well, if you can't make 18 holes, you shouldn't be playing golf.
Well,
just saying.
If you're struggling, like you're making it through those 18, but how are you feeling from hole 1 to hole 18?
I hear you.
And then usually
Well,
a bit better.
flexibility. I mean, flexibility is very important for all athletes. I mean, you think about it, you're swinging a club, and as many times as I swing a club in a day, I need to work on swinging less, but that's a separate issue. Think about any athlete, whether it's a runner, tennis player, golfer, swimmer, I don't care what you do.
Yep.
When you are an athlete, flexibility is one of the most important things.
Yes, and it's also often falls by the wayside on 9 out of 10 of us.
So how long have you been doing this?
I have been doing assisted stretch for about a year and a half now. We opened our business 6 months ago,
Right.
actually almost to the day. I have a background in exercise science from East Stroudsburg for undergrad and grad school, and then I decided to go get a second master's in physiotherapy, physical therapy, it's known here in the States. I went to school in Ireland, University College Dublin. So I am a fully trained and qualified physical therapist there, just not quite here yet.
But you can't claim it here.
Can't claim it here. So I do have a background in physical therapy and exercise physiology, exercise science, but my credentials will transfer, just haven't completed all that. Yes.
It takes time. Well,
time and money.
I can speak for myself that I know a friend of mine was doing it with a large organization and was telling me about it, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. I had a client tell me about the organization that you were previously with, and I tried it out, and it's been fantastic. And now, as you obviously, you're working on my wife, who had been previously seeing a physical therapist and a chiropractor, and is ready to quit both of them because everything that you do with her for her back is helping her better than anything that she's ever done before. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome, and glad to hear it.
Yeah, and
she's feeling better.
Yeah, and so I know you can't say you do it, and I know what you do with me is a combination of stretch, physical therapy, and massage. And so I had my issue with a whiplash, and I got a bad back, but just all the different things you do are just very helpful overall. And when I hear that you're actually doing, I want to say physical therapy, but you're actually helping somebody who has issues, that's great. That's great. And I think can't advertise it, but.
No, yeah, so that it's a fine line, working, but the stretching, but also the knowledge base that I'm fortunate enough and worked hard at getting to. So the advice alone to help with that. And then the other point of opening the clinic was really, I wanted to take, it's not just one thing that helps somebody. You need a multitude of things. So having that strength and conditioning and the stretching, I can show people exercises within their stretch sessions to get that strength piece there for them, putting it all together and having them have a better understanding of what's going on and what they need to do to help alleviate or accomplish certain things.
Well, you probably send people home with homework assignments to do, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. You've done that with me, different types of stretches that you should do on a routine daily basis in between. But there's no doubt, there are certain stretches I just flat out can't do without a second person beating me up like you do.
I'm known to be quite heavy-handed, but I can be gentle when needed.
Well, no, but you know what, though? The fact is that, you're getting me in positions that I just could not do myself. And that really works, particularly some of the twisting things that you do with my back.
Right.
And so that's a huge help. So, Joel, what's your role?
My role is really just co-founder, other than being engaged to Ashley. When she started in the stretch business, we started talking about being able to take her skill set and her knowledge from all those years in school and be able to put them to use for herself, so that she didn't have to go to work for somebody else, and that she could bring all that to bear to help people, because that's where her heart's at. She wants to help people feel better. She gets something out of that. And so we started talking about it before she started working in the so-called assisted stretch business. And then that really just brought it more to the surface. And so I said, hey, it might be possible that we could do this on your own, where we could combine not just the one-on-one assisted stretch, but the strength and conditioning and working with people, the dry needling or the cupping or the other modalities that she can bring to bear for people. We might be able to bring that into reality and make it your own.
You do cupping too?
Yes.
I had that done once. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
All these little
he has a few bruises,
and hickeys all over my body.
On his back,
And I mean, if you saw in the NBA Finals last year, there were lots of players with the cupping marks.
Michael, the swimmer,
Michael Phelps, yeah.
Right, he had them. They used to, the swimmers used to do it all around his shoulders. So that's pretty neat.
Yep, very cool.
Describe what cupping is for those who don't know what it is. Because until I had it done, I would have never known what it meant.
So it's another method of helping bring blood flow to a restricted area and easing out some of that pain, tension. Just another tool in the toolbox, if you will.
Well, yeah, and so I think what's important to understand is that, when you hear that you're doing stretching, there's so much more to it. And I know that you have different tools that you use on me, a little hammer gun that makes my itch and everything else like that. But you have a lot of tools,
right?
Like you said.
What works for you might not work for somebody else, or what works for you this week might not work as well next week. The body's a very peculiar thing, and changes and ebbs and flows.
So you started your own business, what, March, April of 22?
March of this year, yeah.
Okay, great. So do you have any employees yet besides yourself?
I do not. So Joel handles more of the accounting, financial stuff. I handle the boots on the ground in the clinic and trying my hand at marketing. But we are at a point where we are looking to hire and have hired somebody that will be starting part-time in March, October.
Okay, good.
Getting my days mixed up. So that's nerve-wracking but exciting at the same time, bringing on somebody else in a small business.
It is. It is. So are they going to be doing the stretching, or are you going to have them doing? I think you also had said you have yoga classes or other types of classes?
Right. Well, so I do have somebody coming in, just brand new for the yoga. She does a few classes a week.
Okay.
Separate. She has a background in stretching and yoga. And then the one that I have coming in October is going to be actually doing stretching, assisted stretch, and then she also has a background in personal training. So if she wants to do or take on some clients personal training wise, she has the ability to do it at our facility.
Well, that's great. And so then you go hand in hand.
Yes.
Because some of your clients could use the personal training,
Right. Yep.
and certain personal training can use
Correct.
the services that you provide. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how are you liking this business ownership?
Oh, I mean, I love it. It is hard work, and I knew it was going to be. I wasn't under any false pretense, but I'm doing the work for myself and not for somebody else.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Which, again, hard work, but
You don't mind doing
my
it for
hard
yourself?
work.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. You
I
don't
mean,
mind.
I've always been a hard worker, but it's nice to be putting it in for myself.
Oh, of
ourselves.
course, of course. And I'm familiar a little bit with the chains that are out there, and there's a couple of them just within our area that, you know, and I've even been asked to provide investment in the one. Boy, I'll tell you what, they eat you alive as far as the costs go when you have some of those other businesses who charge you a franchise fee, and then they're skimming off the
Right.
top and so on and
Marketing
so forth.
fee, and they pass all those costs on to the client. And it's unfortunate. It was one thing that we wanted to avoid in doing it on our own. And we wanted to bring more to the table than a lot of those corporate players are, right? They're very, they've got a lot, they got tunnel vision. This is all about stretch, and that's what we do, and that's it.
Right.
Where Ashley, she's been able to take the approach, as you know, and use not just stretch, but the personal training, the strength and conditioning, dry needling or cupping or whatever modality she brings in. It's client specific to that client's need. It's beyond stretch.
Right.
It's much more than that. Giving a client something to go home with, to say, hey, listen, you can do this on your own, right? When was the last time you went to the doctor and the doctor said, here, you can prescribe yourself some medicine to help yourself feel better?
Well, he lets me take it myself.
That's right, yeah. But and so that's what really stands apart from some of the franchises that are out there. There's so much more in the offering for really less than what you pay at a corporate franchise, and it's much more customized to each individual.
Yeah, customized, personalized, and you know, that's the one thing. And I always, you know, when I went to that other one, that franchise, I always specifically asked for you, and I did see a lot of turnover over at the place, and you know, obviously there would be no turnover at your own place, at least as it pertains to you. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm going to fire myself today.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, we're up against break. Stay tuned. We will be back with you in just a few moments.
Have you saved enough for retirement? Are you financially prepared for an emergency or unexpected event? Have you thought about your financial future?
Hi, I'm Mike Menninger, founder of Menninger & Associates Financial Planning. For over 20 years, we have been answering our clients' questions just like these as we develop unique and comprehensive financial plans tailored to meet their needs. When addressing your financial plan, we incorporate your entire financial picture, including taxes, estate planning, as well as investment planning and retirement planning. So call us today for a complimentary, no obligation consultation.
A unique approach to financial planning.
Welcome back to Financial Planning Explained. I'm here with my guests, Ashley and Joel, the owners and founders of Resync Body Works, located actually pretty close to my house, a suburb. It's West Norton, a suburb of Norristown, Pennsylvania. Basically sort of between King of Prussia and Collegeville, Norristown, kind of like that little triangle there, if you will. Certainly, it's a great area. So you were doing this in one shape or fashion. You were doing physical therapy for a bunch of years. You did the stretching, which was an interesting sort of side of it, but you broke out and you did it on your own. Tell me why.
So a long-term career goal of mine was to open up my own physical therapy clinic at some point. It's taken a little bit of a longer route because of moving back to the States. So then I got into the assisted stretching, and then when Joel and I met, he was like, you should open up your own, because he's the business guy, so that's where his head's at. And I was like, well, actually, that's a goal. And then I was working the assisted stretch, and then he was like, we can do this, like now, we don't have to wait. So his push definitely helped get the wheels turning more. They were already turning, but the pace at which they were turning definitely picked up speed.
Well, it takes a kick in the butt, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, and it takes actually a lot of courage. You know, I did it. I mean, I actually did it in the form of a career change and starting a business. Took some courage.
Right.
And a little courage, a little scared at first.
Oh, 100%. It's still a little scary at times. You get like, while you're in it.
Did you end up having to take a loan to start the business, or were you able to do it on your own?
Oh, we were able to do it on our own.
All right,
Yeah.
good, good. So tell me the steps that you needed to do to begin your own business. Like, for instance, you had to find a place. I remember helping you try to find a facility once because we were talking about this. I actually told me when there was nobody in the facility, hey, I'm thinking about doing this on my own.
Yeah.
And so when I started encouraging her, now she had a team of people encouraging her. So, you know, sometimes it takes a kick in both.
Definitely help. Yeah.
Right. So
the support. It
and
takes a village.
And I wanted to help. You know, I wanted to help in whatever way I could.
Yeah.
And so having the encouragement from more than one person, I think is fantastic. So what were the steps that you had to do? Were there business licenses that you needed to get? Or
No, not so much that. It was more around. I mean, first things first was we had to crunch the numbers. It's like, what does this even begin to look like?
Right.
Right. Can you make a living doing this?
Right.
And then trying to understand that and start piecing it together, and then you take all of those things, you start running through, and you say, okay, this is an estimate. What's a conservative estimate? What's a conservative estimate? And the way I do that is I look at it, cut it in half again, and say, okay, is this something you could live on? Now, you know, once we really got going, some of those numbers kind of went out the window, because now you're doing it, you're in it every day. But she's been profitable from day one.
oh, really? So when you say some of the numbers went out the window, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think some of the expectations, it's like once you start, because we knew that some clients were going to follow her, right? But we also knew that we had to market, and we had to bring attention to the fact that she was now there in that location, and how we went about doing that. Knowing in your head how to do it, and then getting it from your head into actual everyday into actuality is sometimes there's a gap there, and it's a knowledge gap in the sense of, okay, so I know that I need to market on Facebook, but how do I do that effectively?
Right.
How do I do it cost effectively? How do I do it well? Is it just Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it Twitter? And how do we go about doing that?
And going to events. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it from a business practice and say, all right, the key obviously is you need revenue. Okay, so you're hoping to bring in clients, do the marketing to bring in, basically you need, as I always say, cheeks in the seats.
Yep.
You need people there to come to generate the revenue. But how I would see it is that you need to find a place, which means that you're going to need to be able to cover rent.
Yep.
Then you probably have to buy all kinds of equipment to put in there.
Yep.
So there's an upfront cost.
Yep.
And then you obviously got to pay yourself. I mean, you know, you have a certain expectation. So first you got to cover your expenses, then you cover your cost of living, if you will, and then you got to make up the costs for the equipment that you bought. And so one of the things that I also learned is, and I'm not sure if it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I think that might be the book, but you don't make as much money on yourself, because let's say hypothetically you're billing yourself out at $50 an hour, and I'm just picking a number, it has nothing to do with you. You know, you make that, but you can get, if you can make $20 an hour on someone else, you get 10 people in there, you're making $200 an hour on them.
Right.
So,
Right. So that's actually with hiring somebody, the first step, that was the conversation piece. If we keep it with just me, the clinic itself will go stagnant.
right, and
We
you
have to
you're
take
capped.
that scary step.
You're capped.
Yep.
Right, we have to take that nervous step of getting somebody else in the door. We're at a comfortable place right now with just me, but I'm also pretty much at capacity. I'm only one person.
Right.
I can't clone myself. I can only take on so much. I can probably handle a few more, a little bit more, but at the same time, I can't burn myself out.
Right.
There's other things that need to be tended to. The marketing.
Right.
Like I said, he's more of the accounting business side of it, but I like to peek in and just,
Well, it's
I
good
like
to
to
know.
know things.
No, as you should.
Yeah,
As
so
you should.
we try to keep in constant communication with all the nooks and crannies of the business.
Well, you need to know it. I mean,
And
you
I
know,
want to.
you gotta, you have to understand it because of the fact that you may need to say, hey, I need to either raise my rates or, you know, differentiate certain things. So what are you doing for marketing?
Right now, a lot of marketing is word of mouth,
Okay.
or referrals, which are great. But Google ads we've tried, Facebook we've tried. Again, with not knowing the actual number, like those prices accumulate very quickly. So
The cost can get away from you
Yes, the cost
very
can
quickly.
get away from you. So we kind of go in little bouts where we'll put something out there on social media or Google in itself. But right now, the last month or so has been more word of mouth.
So I'm gonna tell you a profound, which seems stupid,
Okay.
but somebody said it to me and it stuck.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? He says, if you do a lot of marketing, he said, you're gonna find that 50% of your marketing works. So the problem is you don't know which 50% it is.
Right.
So if you do a lot,
Right.
then all of a sudden it gains traction. And so I hate to use the term marketing because I don't like to think that I do marketing, but I have a lot of things going on and it's remarkable the traction. It begins to gain traction.
Sure.
And the Google ads you can spend for ads, but you can also do on a pay if they call you. And we just implemented that.
Sure.
So I think we pay $100 if somebody literally clicks and calls from Google.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, and by the way,
Familiar with it. Yeah, we
that's
did.
a live lead if you think
Yep.
about it.
Yeah.
Sure. And we did a little bit of that in the beginning. We're doing multiple sponsorships for local teams, West Norton baseball,
Oh, okay.
Pendle football, West Norton or Norristown girls women's softball. Is that right? Norristown women's softball. So sponsorships, just again because we get to put our name out there, we get to put our banners out there, and people see that. Okay, well, what's Resync? What's what is
Sure.
because in our logo it's assisted stretch, sports performance, and strength and conditioning. So
All while giving back to the community.
Right. Well, you know what? It's so West Norton Day.
Yep.
Okay, over at the Norristown High School, they have, each township also has those days.
Yep.
And I don't know, you might pay $50 or $100 to get a table, but that's an opportunity to do that.
Face to face with people
and she'll set up and do demo stretches, just 15
That's
minutes.
what I was going to say. I
Yep.
know you have a mobile one because
Yeah.
you've taken it to my house before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she'll do 15-minute demo stretches, give people a taste. We were at opening day baseball for West Norton. We'll be at the Oktoberfest coming up that West Norton's doing.
Oh, what's that?
It's just as you would think it would be, Oktoberfest, beer, wine garden, all kinds of different vendors, and they bring out the entire community for that.
Basically
Cool.
a fall community day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's cool. So, I got to imagine a good place to go would be the gyms.
Yes.
Do you have any type of cooperative thing going on with the gyms?
It's been a little sticky because I feel I have emailed and I have boots on the ground, gone to 1 or 2,
Mm-hmm.
but the feedback isn't. I feel like right now they kind of see it as a competitor.
I was
when-
going to say that. I could see
And-
that if you're advertising strength and conditioning,
Right.
I could see that.
Yeah, so that's why I'd like to have conversations with people. So to tell them the meat and potatoes is the assisted stretch. I use more of the strength and conditioning that people want to add on to their stretch sessions, or if they want within their stretch session, if they do have a back pain issue, I can show them a stretch or two, a strength exercise or two to get them rolling that way. So it's really not, I mean, it doesn't have to be a competition. Like if they
So
were
then
open to
also,
it.
I'm wondering if there is a way, especially with Jeffersonville, you're right there on the 17th hole. I wonder if there might be something you might be able to do with the club. Maybe, I don't know, there's golfers going through there all the time.
Yeah, that's definitely on our list,
Yeah.
our laundry
Well,
list.
they may or may not let you go, but hey, you're in West Norton Township.
Yeah.
Jeffersonville Golf is owned by West Norton Township.
Correct.
Yep.
And we all know in this world, so you know.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
So anyway, so we're wrapping up the show. I got to tell you, I can't endorse you enough. You've done a terrific job with me, terrific job with my wife, and that's 2 out of 2. It's 100%. So I got to imagine that just about everybody else is saying the same thing. So what I'd like to do is just take 1 second, or 1 second, more than 1 second, take a moment, look in the camera, tell everyone how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. We are located at 2121 West Main Street in Jeffersonville, Pennsylvania. Our phone number is 215-436-8282. You can call or text that number. Our website is resyncbodyworks.com, and we can be found on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at Resync Body Works.
Say that phone number again if you could, please.
Yeah, no problem. 215-436-8282.
Since it wasn't on the screen and it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So anyway, and located right next to, there we go. So it's located right next to the Jeffersonville Golf Course.
Across the street.
Jeffersonville, right across the street from Jeffersonville Golf Club. Nice little area, nice little community. I can't, I wish you the best of luck. I think it's terrific. Congratulations on taking the courage, starting your own business. I'm confident in the work that you do, that your following is going to be a very good and strong and solid following, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank
So I'd like to tie in this to the whole financial planning is, everybody has, not everybody, a lot of people have the goal of being their own business owner. I'd much rather work for myself than work for someone else. And one of the biggest things it requires is a little bit of courage, the courage to do it. When I did it the first time, I was nervous. I thought I could do it. I was concerned that I might not be able to do it. And I was really concerned about what if I can't do it. And it's remarkable if you go in that if you're good at what you do, it'll work its way out. And you just got to go in with a little bit of a business plan and have other people be a sounding board. So it's the end of today's show. I thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.